I'm Laura Vitale. On this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to share with you what I promised you, which is my bourbon pumpkin pecan pie. Anyway, it's absolutely delicious and it combines two of my favorite things, which is pumpkin and pecan pie, and it is spiked with some really good bourbon, which is optional, but it just makes things so much more festive. So let me run you through what you'll need, and I'll talk to you a little bit about what I've done already. You'll need some pie crust. I'm using store-bought pie crust today just because I'm making life easier and simple for myself, because it is that time of year for me where I am very busy, and so that is fine with me. What I've done is I obviously lined it with some foil and added some beans, dry beans. You could use rice or you could use pie weights, and I popped it in a 350-degree oven, blind baked it for 15 minutes just to give it a bit of a heads up. And then for the pumpkin filling, you're gonna need pure pumpkin puree, brown sugar, granulated sugar, an egg, cornstarch, salt, pumpkin pie spice, and you're gonna need some bourbon. This bourbon is extremely special to us. It's my brother-in-law and sister-in-law's bourbon from their new distillery. If you're local, they're in Salem in New Jersey, and they're phenomenal. So this is from their first bourbon barrel, and it is really special. So I figured, hey, a special pie for this time of year needs the most special bourbon I can get my hands on. So we're very excited about that. Totally a shameless plug, but we are very, very proud of them. So anyway, for the pumpkin pie filling, for the pecan portion of this pie filling, you're gonna need brown sugar, granulated sugar, a pinch of salt. I'm using maple syrup. You can also use honey, or you can use corn syrup, eggs, melted butter, and vanilla extract that you're actually gonna use for both things. So let's get going. The oven's still preheated to 350. And I'm gonna get going on making the filling for the pumpkin portion. Now you'll see that there's no evaporated milk, there's no heavy cream, there's no other liquids here in this portion, and that's because I don't want a very liquidy pumpkin filling. Otherwise, everything turns into a very wet mess, and we don't want that. And you're just gonna add a couple tablespoons of really good dark bourbon I should say. And it's gonna be so good. So all I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna switch to my whisk, and I am going to give it a bit of a whiskaroo to get it all combined. That looks great. Go ahead and pour that in the base of your pie crust. Just get it all out of there. We didn't add the vanilla to the pumpkin, but it's okay. We're gonna add it to top. We have that really beautiful flavor from the bourbon, so it's fine. Trust me, okay? This is really fantastic, and like I told you, it combines two of our favorite holiday pies into one, and it just makes it feel really, really special. So once you have that in there, you're gonna go ahead, same bowl, because I'm the one doing the cleanup. You're gonna add everything else that you need for the pecan pie. And a good tip, if you are going to be doing something like this where you measure your ingredients and you leave them out, spray the container that holds your syrup with a little bit of nonstick spray. That way it doesn't get all stuck in there. And then you're gonna add 1 shot of bourbon here, a tablespoon, again optional but feels special, and some vanilla as well. For flavor, I added pretty much everything except my pecans, because I just want to get this going first. These are some pecan halves. I'm just gonna add them right in, stir them around like that, and then you're just gonna pour all of this on top of the pumpkin. And hey, if you wanna make a really beautiful pie crust and crimp it and do all the things, you know I tell you to go for it, because that's what you should always do. You should always do what you want. I'm trying to just mix that syrup mixture a little bit better. It's just, you know, this time of year is busy for all of us, especially this year. I feel like we're just juggling a lot, even though we're having smaller gatherings. So if you find yourself some pie crust on sale, good pie crust, buy it. It's all good. Throw it in an oven, not literally throw, but place it in the oven, 350, about 15 minutes to an hour. If your edges of your pie crust start to look like they're getting too much color halfway through, then just lightly tint them with aluminum foil, just so that they don't get too dark. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that, and then once it's cooled completely, we slice and we eat. Boom! So easy. All right, my pie was in the oven about 15 minutes. You want to make sure you let it cool completely. I like to sprinkle the edges with a little powdered sugar, and then when I do go to serve it, I'm going to serve it with some softened whipped cream, and it is just so perfect and divine. And obviously, it would look a lot better. Well, it would look like picture perfect if you went ahead and make a pretty little creme side. I don't do that. I can't stand working with dough, making cute little things. It's just not me. But it is delicious. And at the end of the day, that's pretty much all we care about. Or at least it's all we care about in this house, right? And whoever lives with me and whoever comes over to eat, that's gonna have to be okay with them too, because I just roll that way. Oh, yes. And I also can't cut to save my own life. Pies are hard. The first slice is always hard, but it is a cook's treat, and you've always gotta have one of those. Look at that. You've got your, can you see? I don't know if you can see it really well, but your pumpkin filling and your layer of pecan on top baked together to create magic. And that spiked bourbon. Oh, I couldn't even eat this in one piece. I mean, I could just eat this standing here. That, look at that bite. Perfection. Absolute perfection. If you're gonna have pumpkin pie, you might as well make it bourbon pumpkin pie, the pecan pie layer on top. You won't find something better. LauraInthekitchen.com for the written recipe. Hope you enjoyed spending time with me. I'll see you next time. Bye.